My name is Malivan. I'm 76 years old. And if there is one thing I have learned after all these years, after seasons of lack and seasons of overflow, after fear and faith and everything in between, it is this: you are much closer to prosperity than you think. I know that might sound impossible to you right now. Maybe you're looking at your bank account. Maybe you're thinking about bills. Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you feel like you've been trying for years and nothing moves. I understand that feeling. There was a time in my life when I believed I was miles away from abundance. Not inches, not steps, miles. I believed prosperity belonged to other people. People with better timing, better connections, better luck. I saw myself as someone constantly trying to catch up. And yet, when I look back now, I see something very different. I was never far away. I was simply looking in the wrong direction. Let me take you back to a very specific memory. I was 54 years old, sitting in my small living room, staring at a notebook filled with plans, business ideas, financial goals, lists of what I wanted to change. And I felt frustrated, because despite all my effort, nothing felt stable. I kept saying to myself, when I finally reach that point, then I will feel secure. When I finally earn that amount, then I will relax. When I finally fix this problem, then I will feel abundant. I had tied prosperity to a future milestone, and in doing that, I had unknowingly pushed it away, because I had made it distant in my mind. Prosperity was always somewhere else, somewhere ahead, somewhere later. And when something is always later, your body never feels it now. And if your body never feels it now, you never act like someone who already has access to it. That was the shift. I realized that prosperity is not a location, it is a state. And I was living in a state of almost. Almost enough, almost stable, almost there, but never present. Then something small changed. One day I was paying a modest bill, nothing special, just another expense. And instead of feeling tension, I paused. I asked myself, what if this is already evidence of prosperity? I had money to pay it. I had income. I had options. It wasn't dramatic abundance, but it wasn't nothing. And for the first time, I let myself feel that. I stopped postponing the feeling of enough. That moment was timey, but it shifted my energy. And energy changes perception, and perception changes behavior, and behavior changes results. You are closer to prosperity than you think, because prosperity does not begin with a number. It begins with alignment. I used to believe that abundance would arrive once I reached a certain financial target. But I learned something deeper. The feeling of abundance must exist before the numbers stabilize. Not exaggerated, not delusional, but grounded. You cannot consistently create from desperation. You create sustainably from steadiness. When I began to feel that I was almost there, I acted like someone who was still chasing. When I began to feel that I was already in motion, I acted like someone building. That subtle shift changed my posture. My conversations changed. My confidence changed. My decisions changed. And slowly, very slowly, my financial life changed. There is something I want you to understand deeply. Sometimes the only thing separating you from prosperity is your internal narrative about how far away it is. If you constantly think, I am so far behind, I have so much to fix, I'm nowhere near where I should be, your nervous system interprets that as threat. And when you feel threatened, you narrow your focus. Narrow focus sees fewer possibilities. Wider focus sees opportunity. I want you to try something right now. Instead of asking, how far am I from prosperity? Ask, what evidence already exists that I am moving toward it? Maybe you are more financially aware than last year. Maybe you manage your money better. Maybe you learned a skill. Maybe you avoided a mistake. Maybe you have more discipline. Maybe you have more wisdom. Those are not small things. Those are foundations. Prosperity grows on foundations, not on panic. Let me tell you something that may surprise you. Many of the people I have known who suddenly experienced financial growth were not lucky. They reached a point where they stopped feeling far away. They began to feel ready. Readiness is powerful. When you feel far from something, you behave cautiously. When you feel ready, you behave confidently. Confidence attracts opportunity. Caution often repels it. This does not mean recklessness. It means internal certainty. I remember a time when I was offered a partnership that intimidated me. Years earlier, I would have declined, telling myself I wasn't ready. But by then, something had shifted inside me. I didn't feel far anymore. I felt prepared, and I accepted. That decision multiplied everything, not because I was suddenly smarter, but because I stopped seeing myself as behind. You are closer than you think, because growth is often invisible before it becomes visible. Seeds grow underground long before they break the surface. You may already have the discipline, the resilience, the awareness, the network, the insight, and you are waiting for the visible proof before allowing yourself to believe it. But the belief must come first. Not arrogant belief, grounded belief. The kind that says, I am building, I am capable, I am closer than I was. That is enough. I am 76 years old, and I can tell you this with absolute honesty. Every major financial shift in my life happened when I stopped measuring the distance and started trusting the direction. Direction matters more than distance. You do not need to be at the destination to be close. You only need to be aligned with the path. Tonight, before you sleep, I want you to reflect on one thing. Write down 3 ways in which you are already more prepared for prosperity than you were 5 years ago. Not what you lack, what you have grown into. And tomorrow, carry that awareness with you. Walk like someone who is approaching, not someone who is chasing. Speak like someone building, not someone begging. Decide like someone capable, not someone doubtful. And watch how your world begins to respond. If these words resonate, stay here. Subscribe if you feel that this space strengthens your inner foundation. We are not chasing fantasies. We are cultivating readiness. And in the comments, write, I am closer than I thought. Because you are. Even if you cannot yet see the surface. The roots are already there, and roots mean growth is not far, it is near, very near, closer than you think.